What's up, everybody? My name is Parker Ament.
My name's Danny Ferrari.
And we are Excellent Sound. Today we are going over PhaseOne and Periphery's digital. Sounds a little something like this.
Part 2. So sick, bro.
Yeah, so there's a lot of cool stuff going on. I'm really stoked on PhaseOne's new album. He's like collabing with a bunch of like metalcore bands.
So good.
And it's like it's what the deathcore scene like needed, I guess. Deathcore.
It's really cool, man. I'm really stoked and really proud of you. This is like so rad to see how you actually like processed all this stuff. I got a ton of questions. I'm sure they do too. So it's gonna be really
It's
cool.
super fun. We're gonna get into it. Last video we actually did the drop in this song. So if you guys want that, you can tune into that. Also, if you guys want this project file, you guys can go to our Patreon and sign up for our YouTube tier, and you can actually get all of these stems, all of the guitar stuff I made, all of the drop that Danny made, and a bunch of really cool samples. What else do we got in that Patreon?
We got tons of stuff. We got the mystery loot tier. It's like $15, and you get a bunch of different samples delivered to you every month, and presets sometimes. It's like random. VIP tier, which is like $35. You get mystery loot. YouTube tier, which I think YouTube tier comes with like 20 project files alone.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat. And then, of course, even with the VIP, you get all the VIPs from the past couple months, too, which is super sick. But that has exclusive presets and exclusive samples. But not to be followed up by that we are also coming out with CARTEL Volume 2.
Yeah, CARTEL 2 is coming out. It's going to be super sick.
Pre-sale May 1st. That's all we got to say.
Yeah, so stay tuned for all that good stuff. Let's jump in. I'm going to start with drums, guys. So I used Steven Slate's drums. I think it's version 4. And I basically wrote out all the MIDI really quick. And
I don't know how you figure this shit out with the drums.
Yeah, I'm a drummer, so it helped. But like doing these remakes really help your drum programming as well.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of cool stuff going on here. There's like a flam fill in the beginning. So flam, if you guys don't know, is like velocity sensitive down on the first hit, and then it's like on the second. It sounds kind of like this. This is all unprocessed
Love
MIDI.
this fill too.
So this is all just straight out of Steven Slate 4. I added a lot of cymbals, double hits, sometimes even triple hits, which is like unrealistic, and sometimes I did like 4 tom builds and stuff, but it sounds good.
Yeah.
So if it sounds good, like if the drummer can figure it out later, you know? But yeah, on these hits right here, there's 3 cymbals. So that's really cool. And then I stemmed them all out into their individual sounds, and then I started processing them. So this is how it sounds like processed. So heavy kick, heavy snare, a lot of cool stuff going on. I usually have, you know, real drums or, you know, one shot samples, and it's a little different than this. But I did this pretty quick in Ableton. You can't do multi-output out of Steven Slate drums, so I had to do it like one by one, soloing the kick, solo the snare. So it took a little longer, but
Thanks, Ableton.
Yeah, we did it for you guys, so you guys can have this in the project file. So I think without all the processing, the snare was like not really coming through. So I put a drum sharpener. This is just like a preset from the drum bus, and then and I pulled it all the way down to 24, and I switched it to hard, which is like super hard saturation, and it's really cool on snares because there's a lot of white noise, a lot of top end sat, so that's really cool. And then I think on the the overheads, I wanted the snare to pop through a little bit more, so I cut all the lows out, and I found the resonance of where the snare was hitting. It's like right here. You can kind of see it and kind of hear it a little bit, but I wanted that to come through a lot more, so I just boosted it up. And then on the whole drum group, there's like groups and groups just for the video, but
Groups and groups.
yeah, groups on groups. I put another drum bus on, but I kept it medium saturation all the way up, and I think that I put the damp about like 3 o'clock.
Well, they could copy those settings.
Yeah, we'll copy all the settings. And then on the EQ, I did more of those like kind of nodes that I really liked, and then I put I wanted the cymbals to come out more, so drop that up.
Sounds real to me, buddy.
Yeah, and another cool thing is I left the room reverb on the kick, so you can kind of hear the tail end of that. Not a lot of people do that, but it's nice to have that kind of room warmth in it. So yeah, after I did the drums, I did the bass. And when you get into kind of like the real instruments in kind of death step and like all of these like dubsteppy stuff with like heavy instruments, it's really hard to get them like at the same level as like a dubstep wobble or like a growl or something like that. So you have to really beef it up. So what I used as the instrument is I used Trillion. I think I used the preset. It was like studio bass, full range. And then I put it on just like the high quality setting. And then I processed it to audio, and then I left all the plugins for you guys to see on it. I did a lot of cool stuff. It sounds like this. Yeah, dude. So it does kind of sound artificial like that, because I do subtle articulations with the velocities, but not too much, because it's just to fill out the guitars. So I did 2 layers of bass. So this is the first layer. I did a lot of stuff on this guy. I started with an overdrive around 3K, and then I threw an OTT, and I took off the highs just so the mids can come through, and the highs get a little too shimmery with the OTT sometimes, so I just took it out. And then I threw a kick tight on there. I think originally it was about 100% up, right?
Yeah.
And then I kind of dialed that back. It was a little woofy, so I dialed that.
Woofy.
Yeah, a little woofy bass, dude. And then threw a little satch on here, 4 dB, and then I kind of dialed it back to 75. And then while I was doing all of this, I was losing the sub bass. So this is kind of a hard decision to make, is like, do you want to have a sub bass or do you just want to have the top bass? But I decided to have a sub bass on this guy. So let me see, where are we at? We're on this EQ. So here's how everything sounded before I started carving out for the sub bass. So it's like nice. There's still some overdrive, but it's like pretty smooth. And then once you get that saturated on there, it starts sounding like a nicer top end, kind of like almost corn, but not like too stringy, you know? So I started carving out like the low end on the bass so I can add the sub later. And I took out that frequency that I really liked in the snare overhead. I took that out on the bass. And then on this last EQ, there was just a lot of like weird nodes going on. It could have been from the processing. It could have been from the Trillion plugin. I don't really know, but I didn't like them, so I was just notching all that out. And then I brought the highs up just to get more attack. And then I added a sub bass. The other thing that you got to remember too is when you're doing bass, you got to find the right octave. So it all has to support the guitars. So this is the higher octave on the bass. It's you can just hear it more. And then on the sub bass, I went an octave lower. So all I did for the sub bass is I picked our favorite, hip hop, yeah, the hip hop sub bass. And then I threw an overdrive with a nice wide Q, and then I cut all of the top end out of it, and then I just dialed it back until it fit nicely. So with this, if it was like that, you start from nothing, and then you just slowly dial it in. And just find that like sweet spot. So I liked it at like -11. I think the original track has a lot of sub bass in it, but I kind of like it right there. But yeah, so now on to the last part is the guitars. There's also like a synth lead on here. Sounds pretty sick. Nice plucky, you know. a lot of metal bands are doing that right now. It's really cool. But yeah, here's the guitars. The guitars are really fun. This is like one of my favorite things to do.
I don't know how you play better computer guitar than I can play it.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy. You play good guitar too, though.
Yeah, but you're like a good computer guitarist.
Yeah. So we found this like really cool software guitar a while ago. It's called what is it called? It's called ODIN. Yeah, by SOLEMN Tones, and they're really cool. I have it down here. This is what it looked like before. You could choose a bunch of different settings. There's guitar 1, guitar 2, and then hard panned rhythm guitars, and then like soft pan leads.
We'll put a link for that in the description too.
Yeah, we'll put it down there.
Go check them out. That's a really great company. They got really great sounding guitars.
Really, really cool stuff. It's probably my favorite software guitar. And it's an 8-string too, so you can get those really low notes.
Yeah.
So the cool thing about this is what I did is I duped it out, and I hard panned. Yeah, when you pick hard panned, it pans both guitars left and right, but I duplicated it twice. So I have 2 hard pan to the left and then 2 hard pan to the right, just as some like really nice layers.
Wall of sound.
Yeah, and a really cool trick. I'll actually show you guys a really cool trick. A lot of metal guys don't do this now. This is kind of like an old school technique, but I still like it. Let me pull this up really quick. Oh yeah, before I do that, I used Easy Mix. There's a really cool preset in here. There's a profile after the 5150 amp. It's called 51 Carve. I put the drive up to about 3 o'clock. It's like really, really crunchy, and then I dialed the gate back until you couldn't hear the tail, just to get that really nice tight action.
I love the way that guitar amp plugin sounds.
Oh yeah, dude, it's crazy.
I want to get it.
Yeah, man. There's also some cool ones like JST makes some really good ones.
Native Instruments Guitar Rig.
Guitar Rig, that's a really cool one. But yeah, so check this out, you guys. This is kind of how I do my guitars. If they were real guitars, it would sound a little bit better. But this sounds.
They sound real to me,
like,
bro.
Yeah, for some software guitars. So the left side, this is both of them together. That's the left. And that's the right. So what I did to get this really nice big wide sound is that hard pan trick in the software. And then, let me see. Oh, I think I already put it down. So here, check it out down here. So in this EQ, I threw a saturator on it, boosted it up, and pushed it really hard into this EQ. So on the left side, I boosted a bunch of cool frequencies, and I took out this kind of like nasty, like low mids. It's around 100 hertz. And then I boosted 300. I boosted 1K, and then I boosted like 36 hunch, which is like, you're not really supposed to boost this much, but I really liked it. So the whole point of this technique is like you boost one side, you make a guitar like really nice and sharp on one side, and then on the left side you suck it out, or the opposite side. So check it out. On this side, I took those exact same frequencies out, and then I added, I think this is the same, but I took out 11 hunch, I took out 300 or 250, and then I sucked that woofiness out. And then together they sound really nice and full, and the stereo image is really nice and wide. And then that with the bass sounds like this. So the bass really fills it out, and kind of fills in everything that I took out of the guitars.
I like layering the ODIN plugin with actual real guitars too. I find that that's kind of a cool thing to do.
Yeah, that's really fun too, because a lot of the new metal right now is very like mechanical and robotic.
Super digital sounding.
Yeah, super digital. They're using Kempers, they're using Axe-FXs and stuff, and it's really cool on this PhaseOne album. Like they did a really good job of using that with the synths.
Yeah,
and that's what I was always missing on the older like Death Step stuff. Like there was no good guitar tone, no good screamers, but like he got a bunch of good screamers.
He got great tone.
Yeah, so I think that is about it.
Play that little riff too, that guitar melody.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the lead. So yeah, in the build, they're playing this like really nice lead right here. That's the synth lead. This is the guitar melody. So that's really cool.
Yeah.
A lot of people have trouble kind of mixing layers of guitars, but it's the same as mixing everything else. There's a lot of masking going on.
Right.
You have to find where each guitar lives, and for this one, this guitar melody, there's a lot of stuff going on. But if you were to just take it all off, like you wouldn't. I don't think you would even be able to hear it. So there's nothing. Yeah. So essentially, what I did is I satched it up about 4 dB, and then I threw a reverb on it. I saturated before the reverb, and then I pushed all of that into the EQ to give it that like telephony effect. And then I threw a little ping pong delay on there. This is what it sounded like before. And that is really the key that cuts through the mix, because all of the frequencies I picked are not being occupied by anything else.
Yeah, that's why it sticks out otherwise, because it sounds like super thin by itself, kind of, which is crazy. But then in the mix, it sounds great. Yeah,
totally. And then I threw an OTT on it. I think this is just a stock OTT, and I brought it back down to 55 before. Really gives it that cut back, and then just this utilities for the video. But yeah, this is it all together over here. Digital. Gotta get part 2 for that. Gotta get part 1 for that.
Bro, I almost came, dude.
I blue balled you, dude.
Yeah, dude.
Well, yeah. So that's it for this video. If you guys want to hear that drop, you could listen to the original, or even better, you could check out part 1.
Part 1.
Yeah, man. We go over the whole drop. We go over the lead bass sound. And yeah, we give you away that free bass lead.
Yeah, that main lead is going to be for free in that part 1 video. Make sure you guys go check out the Patreon if you guys want to get the project file.
Yep.
Again, it's only $10. Also, too, don't forget we have CARTEL pre-sales going on May 1st. CARTEL Volume 2 is going to be pre-saled May 1st. The date will probably be in May as far as the release date. We will probably announce that next week, probably.
Yep.
Shout out to FOMO. Morgan in the back.
Yeah, we got FOMO in the back.
Doing lessons now with us. So if you guys haven't heard of FOMO, go check them out. He's an amazing producer. Morgan and Garrett. Garrett's not here. He's in a wheelchair. Yep. But he is. But yeah, Morgan's doing lessons with us now.
Yeah, we're super excited to have him on the team. You guys can go check out his profile.
Yeah.
On our website. What else we got? We got some.
Tell them about how we do producing, bro. How you're like an engineer.
We do a ton of producing here, man. We do metal stuff. We do dubstep stuff. As you guys know, we do a ton of different things. We do some hip hop. So if you guys need production, you guys need engineering, you guys need studio time, let us know. Hit us up, and we can help you out.
info@xlntsound.com.
Yes.
Tons of free content on our website at www.xlntsound.com as well.
Yeah. How do you think we should roll out?
Yeah, let's roll out.
Roll out of this?
Do the subtle fade out, dude, so they don't know.
I'll do the subtle fade out.
We'll see you next time. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.